Is Russia failed in this Ukraine war? What are the consequences faced by Russia in this war? Since February 24, Russia attacking Ukraine and they want to invade Ukraine, but Russia seems to be miscalculated the Ukraine strength because the war lasted more than they have expected, and it backfired the Russia's decision because there are many devastating events occurred that pose a serious threat for Russia. So Russia war on Ukraine is never compromisable because in this modern world many disputes and many like confrontation were settled through the diplomatic solutions and through peaceful means. But Russia war on Ukraine, it is not necessary because the negotiations can be done to settle the dispute. So Russia war on Ukraine has severely backfired them, and even before the start of war, 1 week before, France President Emmanuel Macron and Germany Chancellor Olaf Scholz went to Russia and hold negotiation with Putin, and they have assured that they will not allow the Ukraine to join NATO. So this is a major breakthrough because France and Germany are the two prominent member of NATO, and if they give some sort of assurance, then there must be some sort of developments will happen. But Russia war on Ukraine is a serious effect, and also if Russia want, already Russia made an allegation that Ukraine government is suppressing the ethnic Russians of Ukraine. Ethnic Russians will live in the eastern part of Ukraine. It is called Donbas region, mainly consists of two parts. One is Donetsk and the other is Luhansk. So Russia made an allegation that Putin severely condemned that the Ukraine government is suppressing the ethnic Russians. So many have considered that if Russia want to invade Ukraine, they will not invade the whole Ukraine, but they will invade the only the eastern part, like they have invaded the Georgia, Abkhazia and South Ossetia in 2008, and also the Ukraine Crimea in 2014. But this is a very surprise decision. So Russia, apart from the eastern part of Ukraine, they want to invade throughout the Ukraine. If they want to throughout the Ukraine, the main decision is Ukraine should not join NATO. But Ukraine cannot join NATO because Russia also know. In 2008, when they captured Abkhazia and South Ossetia, because according to the Article 5 of NATO member, if the country's territory, if the country want to join the member of NATO, if the country's territory in dispute, then they cannot join NATO. So Georgia cannot join NATO as Russia invaded Georgia in 2008, two territories of Georgia, and Ukraine cannot join NATO because in 2014 Russia invaded the Crimea. How Ukraine can join NATO? So they cannot join. But Russia's decision to attack Ukraine is something serious, and it resulted in a devastating event. Now the the Russians lost more than 3,000 soldiers, and the Ukraine Zelensky claimed that Russians had lost more than 30,000 soldiers, but it is not confirmed. And Ukraine's resistance against Russia seems to be suppressing, and Zelensky's brave behavior posed a serious threat for Russia. And also Ukraine claimed that they have shot down around the 200 fighter military aircraft of Russia, and Russia claimed they have shot down around 160 aircraft of Ukraine, military aircraft of Ukraine. And also seems to be Ukraine destroyed around 1500 Russian tanks. This is a major setback for Russia because Russia believed that they can invade Ukraine in a short period of time. But now, due to the Ukraine war that lasted more than 3 months, they have suffered heavy loss from the civilians, from the military loss, casualty, and also their weapons. So many Russians, even the domestic Russians, turned against Putin's decision as they have suffered heavy loss. And also now the Finland and Sweden want to join NATO. They express their concerns that they have a security threat because they have shared border with Russia. So like Ukraine, in some time the Russians also can invade Finland and Sweden. So they have proposed to join NATO, and this also resulted in a major setback for Russia because Russia want to warn all other European countries, especially the countries which shares border with Ukraine, which have closer relationship with NATO. If the European countries want to maintain the Eastern European countries and Central European countries want to maintain proximal relationship with NATO, then this might be the consequences faced by the countries. And many countries have raised their voice over the human rights violation of Russia, especially the Bucha killings. The Bucha killings were discussed in the United Nations Security Council, and also Russia was suspended from the United Nations Human Rights Council. And apart from the military personnel and other military bases, Russia is attacking the Ukrainian civilians. That led to a serious concerns all over the world. And also now Ukrainians once again settling in the Ukraine's capital. So this also ended in a major setback for Russia, because once again Ukraine is developing, and also now the developments were in process. So Russia has suffered heavy losses apart from they have calculated in Ukraine war. That's what I want to say. Thank you.